3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Yo, 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 and we're back. This is Toney Boi, and we're at Outside Influence. I got a real good friend of mine here today. Goes by the name of L-Biz.
I don't hit the
Make some noise for L-Biz. He's gonna...
Salute, what's up? My name is L-Biz. I just hit the microphone. I'm a clown. But I'm grateful to be here, man. Salute to you, man, and everything that you're doing for the culture, for the town, and just for hip hop as a whole, not just for the city, but everywhere. Because we global,
we
baby.
Here now, man.
Yes,
here.
Yes, it took a while, but
we
made it.
All right, so let's kick this joint off. The name L-Biz. What's the history behind that? How'd you come up with that?
Oh man, like I said, I'm a goof at heart, you know what I'm saying? So when I first started rapping, my rap name was Low Budget.
Oh, word.
And I was really kind of like doing like satire rap, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like a la like Weird Al and stuff, like just on some fun stuff because I was surrounded by so many really talented MCs. Yeah. So I never took it seriously. But then as I started to kind of develop, you know what I'm saying? Salute to my brother G4 Jag. He was the one that was like, yo, you should take this more seriously. Yeah. And so, you know, it went from Low Budget and, you know, it was around that for shizzle, dizzle, bizzle time. Right. So some of the homies used to call me Low Bizzle and I just shortened it up and that's where it came from. It's no, the L don't mean nothing.
I thought the L meant something.
I mean, but I've adapted your name,
it. So I'm like, there's no L.
There's no connection to it. So I've kind of adapted it and I use like L words like life, business, you know what I'm saying? Word. Love, business, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But that's where it came from. You know what I mean? So it's not like no kind of acronym or nothing like that. Word. That's just my MC name. It was given to me by a friend of mine by the name of Sonny. And it just stuck.
I'm gonna start calling you Low Budget now.
Hey, like, listen, roots is deep. It's certain people that if you call me that, they gonna look at you like you crazy because they know you wasn't around when that was happening. You know what I'm saying? So because it's only a handful of people that was really around when it was that, but you know that's part of my history. You know
that's how I feel. With one of my first rap names was B Guns.
Oh gosh, so violent.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into that. So, boom. What were some of your first influences in music? What made you want to become the artist? Like, who were you listening to that really made you want to like, yo, I want to rap?
That I want to rap,
or let's say like I want to make music. Let's round that off.
I want to make music part was Brian McKnight because I came in the game as a singer. I wasn't even rapping. I was really like doing some behind the scenes A&R, executive producing type stuff. And but I grew up in the church singing, you know what I mean? So Brian McKnight was really like the biggest influence for me. And I didn't even know at the time, he was from the area. Yeah,
Amherst High.
Right. So, but that was my guy. And then as far as hip hop is concerned, I was always into I dove into hip hop around the time of the West Coast takeover. So, like, one of my favorite rappers at that time when I first started to really dive into hip-hop was, like, Spice One and MC8.
Oh, word.
Yeah, so, it was kind of wild like that. Like, a lot of people was, like, on, the, like, Wu-Tang and stuff like that, which I'm still I'm a fan of, but for me, it was, Spice One, MC8, and then the first CD I ever owned was The Chronic. Word. So, it was a lot of hip-hop from the West Coast. Mm-hmm. And then I got into Original Flavor and Jay-Z and stuff like that a little later on, and but as far as like me rapping, I think like the biggest influence for me feeling like I could was just my homies. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like it wasn't a lot of singers around.
Right.
So
because coming up in the 90s, everybody was in the R&B group.
Right. Everybody was in a group. Everybody was in a singing group. So, so I used to sing to the girls in school and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, but I wasn't rapping, you know what I'm saying? It was singing in church, and then just enjoying hip hop in my pastime. But once I started to link with, with the homies from Uptown, A-Status, Still a Hustle, G4 Jag, who I told you, off camera that I met at Niagara University. Word. when they started doing it, and I started to dabble. Like again, I was telling jokes, so I'd be like, "Yeah, I got a hot 3 bars for y'all," and I would actually write 3. You know what I'm saying? And just be done. You know what I'm saying? And they'd be like, you know, and we'd joke around in the studio and stuff. But then one time I'm like, "Yo, like we were working on our first mixtape, and I actually wrote the hook.
Yeah,
and it was a rap hook, and they liked it. So they're like, man, like you should hop on this. And I'm like, nah, y'all got it. But then as we continued to progress, I was literally like going through an artist development phase or process, working with top-notch MCs and understanding that I was searching for a specific sound and a specific type of quality that I wanted. So it took me probably like a good 3-4 years before I even presented a song of my own to, you know, for public consumption.
Right. So, boom, we're gonna segue into the next question. How did you land the BOK? Was it Jazzy Driver at 5? You were on the radio for a few years.
That's crazy. Yo,
people that don't know that, he was on the radio for, I think, Jazzy Driver at 5 for I don't know how many years.
It was and
I used to tell my grandmother, like, rest in peace, my grandma, like, Grandma, I know this dude. Like, this my boy. Like,
crazy. Yo, it was the Big 4 at 4.
Big 4 at 4.
The Big 4 at 4, the 4-song countdown that was on WBOK, the Majors radio station in Buffalo. And the irony about that, it's a small story, real quick. I was actually recording people to submit for that contest.
Really?
I wasn't even gonna do it.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, one, it was a conflict of interest, and 2, I kind of felt that it was kind of corny to do. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. Then fast forward maybe about a week, and my wife overhears on the radio Jazzy T saying, "Like she wasn't filling none of the submissions." So she opened it back up to more people, and my wife was like, "You should do it." And I'm like, "Well, I don't feel right doing it. They kind of did it and whatever." But I had some beats. I had some cheesy pop beats that I bought, you know, around SoundClick days when it was buy one get one freeze.
Oh wow!
And right, so right, so I bought a beat. I bought a bunch of beats from this dude, and he gave me a bunch of them for free. And the beat that I ended up using for that was something that I had that was just laying around.
Word.
And I tried to make the most cheesiest, corniest, different type
cheesy.
of.
To me, it wasn't cheesy because
it was cheesy as hell to me.
for being a Buffalo artist and hearing a Buffalo artist on the radio, that was major to me. So
right.
That always was something that, you know, I was proud of. Like, yo, like we're making strides.
Right.
Like, when you hear that, you know.
It was definitely the sound of it was definitely something that I've never done. It was totally experimental. I was having fun with it. I needed something that kind of was able to display my rapping ability and my singing ability. And it was only a minute and a half worth of time. So I had to kind of be creative and fun with it. And there were talking points too. So that was a whole nother something that I wasn't used to, is like giving a specific topic or specific information that I had to put in the song and then present it. And shout out to Jazzy T. She out in Rochester doing all kind of stuff now. But she rocked with it for about a good 3 years.
Yeah, it was a good mindset.
And it was at the time when we wasn't getting no burn on the radio at all. So I was literally like the only local artist being played on the radio for any reason whatsoever. And so that kept me afloat. It helped me stay afloat for quite a while, man. And I'm still grateful. I still thank her to this day for that opportunity.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Jazzy T, man.
Word.
All right, so next question. What were some of your first experiences in the Buffalo hip-hop scene? Because I know one of my first ones I shared with you when we did the, I think it was a BLK show, the literacy show that Mario Johnson put on together. Yep. So what was some of your first influences in the Buffalo scene?
My first influences, well, truth be told, like I created my own first performance opportunity when back in 2004, which is when we released our first project, our first compilation or mixtape project. And we put a whole show on and all that stuff when it was not even something that was going on at the time. A lot of people that was doing hip hop at the time was going out of town to try to do shows out of town. It wasn't really doing, other than Baby Steps, obviously, but that was his whole thing. That was a thing outside of anything that was happening in any other side of the town. You know what I mean? So that, I did a lot of like performance practice, being a student at Hilbert College. That was something, you know, like it wasn't a lot of people that was doing music at the up there like that. So I was kind of like the go-to hip hop guy.
Okay.
Yeah. And then like I think the the most pivotal performance, or it like just the scene, being on the scene, was when me and a buddy of mine, he actually shoots video for me now, by the name of Al Max. Me and him were co-hosting and hosting an event.
Green Stamp.
Yeah. We were salute to Green Stamp Imaging, but we were co-hosting an event called Maxed Out Monthlies.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah.
At Broadway Joe's.
At
right?
Broadway Joe's. Yeah. Yep. So that specific event was like everything.
Yeah.
Because we was on every month. It was always something dope. Like I ended up getting a feature with this kid named JB from Oklahoma, who I think he got nominated for an Emmy or something.
Oh, nice.
And all,
Okay.
he won an Emmy for some kind of library project that he did. But between that and meeting another artist by the name of Dow Jones from Saratoga Springs, he go by Cole King now. Right. And it was just that specific thing was so dope. And it's just so much dope stuff that happened at Broadway Joe's. I think Broadway Joe's is forever in my heart. You know what I'm saying?
And
so
I'm kind of happy that nobody's bought it yet. But I wish it was open. But
I want to so bad.
It's gonna hurt me to see that change into something else whenever it does.
Right. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Because we need another hip hop home in Buffalo.
Lord willing. I mean, and granted, it's a hole in the wall, but it's ours.
It's ours.
And I feel like
piece of shit.
I feel like it's only right for us to figure out some kind of way where we can own that. And
who cares if there was holes on the stage?
Yeah, nobody cares.
We don't care.
We can revamp it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying some plywood.
Get a few PPPs and make it right. You know
Do not DM me about no PPP.
Word.
All right, so boom. So what does L-Biz do outside of the studio when he's not making music, when he's not being the pillar he is in the town?
Man. I'm with my family. You know what I'm saying? Like it's family time. I got a wife and kids. So, I try to do the best that I can with balancing my music career with my family life. It's really tough, you know what I mean? Because, the goal is to level up at every turn.
Right.
But at the same time, I have a saying that I go by. I don't remember where I got the quote from. I want to say it was Les Brown, or maybe Dave Ramsey or something, but I'm really big on scheduling my priorities before I prioritize my schedule. And basically, it's like really thinking about the things that matter most to you and putting those things at the top of the list before you add on all of the extras. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna make sure that I'm good with my wife, I'm good with my kids, they got everything they need, I'm eating right, I'm exercising, I'm taking care of my temple, and then I get to all of that other stuff.
Right.
So that, and with that specific practice, it helps me to kind of avoid dealing with people and things that are not beneficial to my trajectory and to my life growth. Because I don't got no time.
Right.
If I'm putting all my priorities at the front of my list, then that means I only end up with 4 to 6 hours worth of time to do the stuff that I enjoy for myself, my craft and my business and all of that. By that time, I'm too tired to deal with the shenanigans.
Right.
You know what I mean? I barely watch TV. You know what I mean? So I be at work because I got a 9 to 5 too. You know what I mean? So I be at my job like writing raps and placing orders and doing all kind of, you know what I'm saying? I'll do my job, but then in the midst of doing my job, if a bar come, I got to write it down.
Right.
I'm listening to beat loops at work, at my desk, balancing spreadsheets and writing bars.
So to Mr. Boss Man, he is working.
Salute to my supervisor. He's a supporter too. You know what I'm saying? He buys the merch and buy the music. He came to the listening session that we had recently. Like he's a huge supporter. You know what I mean? So it's like, respect to him giving me kind of some leeway to make sure that I'm doing, but I still do my job. You know what I'm saying? Because that's my primary source of income. So I got to make sure that I'm doing right by that so that I can secure my family. But, somebody hit me with the right type of money for this music and I'm going to have to take a nice chunky leave of absence. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to quit unless they make me. But, you know what I'm saying? I get that $250,000, then we're going to have to take a few years off.
Take all the years off.
Nah, I'm gonna go back. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna make that $250,000 again real quick.
That's cool. That's cool. I like pension. You know what I'm saying? That feel good too. So, we gonna figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna figure it out. I ain't no slave to the working industry. You know what I'm saying? We out here having a good time and making art.
Facts. So with all the success that, Buffalo artists have had, shout out to West, Benny, Conway, Esco, Camino, the list goes on now. The list keeps getting longer and longer.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself falling into the mix and say within the next 10 years? Because you're already in the mix.
Yeah.
So like, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years with the music or whatever you're doing with your business?
I think it's like since I started doing music, my whole goal, and it's another one of my personal philosophies is like never disconnect from the why. Never disconnect from the reason why you do what you do as an artist or a business person or whatever. And I identified my why early on, and the reason why I wanted to get into music totally is just to really see somebody else win.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where, the first project that I was ever a part of was a compilation project that I A&R'd and executive produced. Actually, the first 3 or 4 projects that I was a part of were things that I was working on behind the scenes to help push both artists in Buffalo and artists from Harlem. Because again, like, I met G4 Jag when he was like 18 or 19 years old. And he had never, been to a studio before. Same with salute to my bro, Scripps. Y'all know him as Young Scripps that used to battle on the URL scene too. Like he was in a group, and I was working with them to try to propel them. So now, fast forward so many years, and I got a stable of young artists that I'm developing. Yeah. My little cousin Big Bada that I'm working with, Jay the Creep. I
actually recorded Jay the Creep a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's my little cousin.
Did not know that.
yeah, that's my little cousin.
That's cool.
So I'm Big Bada, Jay the Creep, Rich. He's a part of Team ISB, which is my team. Working with Pretty Bully, and We Stole the Show. I'm working with them as well. So
shout out to Fee and Reese.
Shout out to Fee and Reese. I'm really working on trying to utilize my talents and the things that I've learned and have been able to build to propel other people. You know what I'm saying? A rising tide lifts all boats.
Right.
So if I can continue to grow, then and I manage it right, and I'm able to pour these blessings out over to other people, then they can propel as well. So, we talking about, like, I'm working with artists from the age of 15 to 40. Right. You know what I'm saying? 40 plus. So, it's learning and growing with my peers and then sharing this information with the youth as well. Right. And then I not only do do music and production and all of these other things, but I also teach about financial fitness as well. So it's not just the hip hop thing. It's like, we talking about, like, in our group chat, we talking about budgeting for projects. Right. So that when you approached by somebody major and they be like, yo, what's your budget? You're not scared, or it don't scare you off because you know exactly what that is and you know how it pertains to your work. Mm-hmm. So that's what I've been doing, man. And I think it's really important because a lot of times, because of the way the game is, people don't like to share information because, one, it's like, I work so hard to get this information, so you either got to pay me for it or you just don't get it, right. Or you got to go find it yourself. Whereas me, if I see that you're serious about it, I'm going to give you the information anyway, because there's only 2 things that can happen with it. You either use it or you don't. Most people don't. Because it's too much work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people fear success because when you gain certain levels of success, it comes is certain changes that are required that people aren't comfortable with making.
Right.
Certain sacrifices that people aren't comfortable making. So it's like, man, like, do I go on tour? Well, if I go on tour, then I can't see my kid and blah, 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 blah. So they don't. Or do I invest in this merchandise? If I spend this, then I might miss my rent payment. So they don't. Right. They be scared of the outcome. And this is not a business to be scared
You can't be scared.
You can't be scared.
The famous saying, scared money don't
make
none.
no money. That's
none,
a fact.
Man. For real. So we're going to wrap this up with the last question here. Well, not even a question, but for the young L-Biz, for, you said you work with 15-year-old artists, mm-hmm. What advice would you have for them, trying to expand their brand, to get into the game, get into entertainment, and anything like that?
I would say consistency is key. One thing that I've learned, even in my old age, is focusing on you and the things that you believe in. It will never hurt anybody that believes in you. A lot of times people choose to help others or not do for themselves because they feel like somebody else is going to be slighted. And anybody that feels slighted by your own personal success don't want to see you win anyway. Right. So just really focus, stay consistent, no days off. If you really mean it, if you really want to do it, definitely don't be afraid to write your goals down, jot your ideas down, and focus on that, meditate on it, and see it through. and then just grind and don't stop. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do something. You know, watch your circle. Make sure that, you know, everybody that's around you have pure intentions.
That's key.
And that not everybody do the same stuff because that's only a recipe for unnecessary competition.
Yeah, it's unhealthy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Well, you got a bunch of rappers around that do all of the same stuff, or graphic artists or videographers that do all of the same stuff. Like, let's all learn something different about the business so that we can all be valuable to one another in other ways. So that if you pop, like on some Saint Lunatic stuff, and we working together, and you Nelly and you pop, I know the business so that I can help you in the business and if I ain't rapping.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying, or I'm learning from you on how to make better songs and so on and so forth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody gonna win. It's more than enough to go around. Like, it's 1% of people in this country that own more money than the rest of us.
Right.
So that means there's plenty of money to go around.
Out there.
You just gotta go and get it and then decide how much work you want to put in for how much you want.
Right.
You know what I mean? Do you want to be a thousandaire? Do you want to be a millionaire? Because millionaires got to put in more work than a thousandaires put in.
Right. It's also what you're comfortable with, too.
Right.
Everybody don't want to be a millionaire.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Everybody, because more money, more problems.
More money, more problems. So.
The more money I make, the more drama I got. You know what I'm saying? People calling me, asking me for cash and stuff. And can I borrow? And
I ain't got it.
I'm in between. You know, my check-ins and my savings and check-ins.
The way my bank account set up.
Yeah, you know how my stuff set up. It don't work like that. You know what I mean?
Word up.
They holding me up.
Well, get the people any plugs. You got anything you got coming out? You know, anything you want them to know?
Right now, I just released an album called Never Cry, produced by Myth Got Beats and P.A. Dre. Salute to those guys. Mixed and mastered by my brother Carolina Blue. That's out right now on all streaming platforms. Also, if you want to truly support, you can go to istayBusy.com. Buy the digital copy, buy some physical, some merch. I got hats, hoodies, and all of that good stuff. But that album is out right now. It's doing very well. You know, I got some singles floating around too. Shout out to Primo, Castle Money Beats.
Money, my dog.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's my guy. You know what I mean? So that's happening. And we working on some new stuff too. You know what I mean? Like, so stay tuned, man. I stay busy. You should too. You already know.
All right, well, like always, man, I always appreciate the time I get to, you know, chat with you and, you know, chop it up and catch up, man. So thanks for coming out. We're about to wrap this up. This is Toney Boi, Southside Influence, man. Peace.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
Peace. I was supposed to look at the camera. That camera. Do peace again. I was looking up.
Are there cameras? I mean, questions. Peace to y'all, man.
Peace.
Man,
peace. My name is L-Biz. I stay busy. You should too. Never Cry out right now. Make sure y'all go get that. Arts Collaboratory. Thank you for having me. Outside Influence. Thank you for having me. Salute to everybody that tapped in. It's your boy L-Biz. Love.